The Lions were able to pick up a defensive tackle at pick number 28. Here today to help explore and discuss what potentially Tyleik Williams could bring to the table and grade the selection is Lions on SI writer Christian Boer. Christian, I'm curious, what grade would you give the selection of the Lions first round pick in 2025?
I'm really intrigued by the selection of Tyleik Williams. I think that he has a lot of upside and development still ahead of him. And for that reason, it's hard to be too harsh on this pick. A lot of the big boards and the analysts had Tyleik Williams as more of a second round pick. The Lions get him at 28. So, in that aspect, the pick is viewed as a little bit of a reach. And that's why a lot of analysts aren't as high on it. And I'm not the biggest fan of it either, simply because there were some interesting edge options available. Donovan Ezaraku was still on the board. Safety Nick Emanwari was still on the board. A lot of defensive talents that I had a lot of interest in are still available. Not my favorite personal preference in terms of Tyleik Williams. However, when you really dig deep and you look at what he can be, it's hard not to get excited about it. He is a very good run defender, and that skill should translate to life at the professional level right away. He should be an early down type of rotational player that helps defend the run. And the Lions had a really good run defense last year. So I think Tyleik Williams can help out a lot in that area. Now, where he needs to grow is as a pass rusher. And what does that look like? Does he become like a nose tackle? Is he your DJ Reader replacement a year from now, where he's this big presence who can really push the pocket from the interior? Or does he slim down a little bit and become kind of a three tech that can play alongside Aleem McNeil? I don't know. That's what's going to make this offseason and next year all so exciting, because Tyleik Williams really is a ball of clay who has a really good foundation. And I think there's a lot that the Lions can do to really maximize the value of this pick. So right now, I'll give the pick a B grade with the potential for a lot more. And I think that when we look back on this pick in 2-3 years, I think this is another selection that Brad Holmes has made that has the potential to age really well.
Yeah, what's interesting, Christian, is that Jahad Campbell went to the Eagles. And so I think he'll be a player out of Alabama that's going to be definitely monitored. I think a player that potentially also could have been a fit in Detroit. But I think it's a safe pick for Brad Holmes. I think a player that clearly he was able to scout, a player that played on a national championship quality program. So I do think that there's high upside. But at this point in time, you understand that there's still some limitations to his game. But let's hope and see, and let's explore how his pass rushing skills develop. But at the forefront, the Lions are a team that want defensive linemen that clearly can stuff the run. But let's hope that Tyleik Williams can develop into that pass rusher. But I think the Lions like his versatility, so I'm in agreement. I think a fair grade is a B for the Lions for selection, and let's see how the rest of the draft continues to evolve.